So there's a video that you're probably never going to make, and it's not because you're lazy and it's not because you're out of ideas, because you've got plenty of ideas and you know how to make content. So why is it sometimes so hard to commit to that one idea and just make the video and publish it, and instead you stay stuck in your own head procrastinating over it for weeks? So today I want to break down what I think is one of the biggest barriers for small creators. It's certainly something I've struggled with, and it's something I call the masterpiece problem. It's that subtle feeling that your next video absolutely has to be your best work yet, and if you have a good idea for a topic or a video that you want to create, but you've only got one shot to make that perfect, to make it an absolute masterpiece. So you push on the brakes and you hold off on even starting because you've convinced yourself that it's just not quite ready yet. And then instead of consistently creating content and building something, you just end up trapped in your own head chasing the holy grail. And I get it, it's really hard not to, especially with so many great creators on your feed pushing out banger videos, and you can't help but sit there and think, I really want to make this. I really want to make something like that. But here's the thing, and maybe the most important thing to take away from this video. Nobody makes a masterpiece on purpose. So if you take any creator that you admire and look at their top performing videos, the ones that you've probably seen come across your feed, it looks like they just churned out a masterpiece and they do it day after day. But I promise you, they didn't just sit down and say, right, today I'm going to make my masterpiece video, push record, and that was that. They just made a video. They made one video in a long line of maybe hundreds of videos, and it was just that one that landed. So remember, when you're watching somebody else's masterpiece video, that's just one video built on the back of hundreds of videos that nobody talks about. You just can't see that. So one thing I want to make clear is that I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't always be striving to improve on your videos. There's nothing wrong with aspiring to create a masterpiece video one day and to constantly improve your process and improve your content. But when that becomes a blocker to actually producing your next video, then you know you've got a problem. So I've talked a lot before about how content creation is a journey and how improvement is an iterative process. It takes time. The problem is when you try and make the masterpiece, or you try and make that perfect video, and that's where you set the bar, then your ideas will never leave your head. So I've caught myself doing exactly the same thing in the past, and I still do. I get that feeling that I can't make a particular video idea because it's just not perfect enough, and because of that I've sat on ideas for weeks before, and it's really frustrating. And this is the masterpiece problem. It's a series of lies that we tell ourselves. So there are some subtle thought patterns that I've spotted in myself, in my own behaviour over the last year, and I've tried to change. And these thought patterns, these lies I was telling myself, were really holding me back from creating content, and they might be doing the same for you too. So let's break this down a bit. So the first thing you might be telling yourself is, your next video will define you. So one of the most profound things that I've come to realize is that the way we think we're perceived in the world is really different to how the world actually perceives us. We spend all day consumed by our content, coming up with ideas, writing scripts. It's a huge part of who we are, so it's easy to fall into this trap of thinking that the world is out there waiting with bated breath for your next piece of content, and if it somehow doesn't blow the roof off the place, then you've failed. And that leads into this constant feeling that your next video will somehow define who you are, how you're seen by the world. But the reality is, the world isn't waiting for you. They've honestly got better things to do. If you post a piece of content that helps somebody with something, then they'll watch it, and if you keep doing that, they'll watch more. But you'll never know that because you're stuck in your own head, turning what should be just a simple talking head video into the State of the Union address, and it'll never leave your head. So here's the thing to remember: your next video won't define you, but your next 100 will. So here's a different way of thinking about it, and this is really important. Think of your next year or two on YouTube as your canvas. Your next video is just a brushstroke. So the next part of the problem is one that I've probably caught myself doing the most, and it's another lie. And that's that you only get to talk about something once. Sometimes I'll have a random idea in the shower. Maybe I've gone a few days now without any great ideas and I've been struggling a bit. And there it is, suddenly a topic and an angle, something I think will make a really great video. But here's the thing, sometimes I get overexcited about that idea and then I start thinking I can't waste the opportunity to use that idea, to use that particular topic in a video. That this idea is so good that the video needs to be perfect because somehow I'll never get the opportunity to make this ever again. So instead of making the video, I keep it under wraps and keep it in my own head until I've figured out a way to make the video perfect, to make it a masterpiece. And that's kind of a delusion, feeling that if I make that video and it flops, that I'm somehow barred from ever making a video about that topic again, that was my one and only shot. But the reality is that creators make videos about the same topics all the time. In fact, you could argue that only making one video on a particular topic is a waste. If you make a video based on a really good idea you had and the video turns out to be a flop, there's nothing stopping you just making another one, maybe with a slightly different angle, slightly different spin. Learn from that video that flopped and make a better one. It's certainly better to be making 3 videos on one topic than never making any because you're just stuck in your own head again. And each iteration of content that you produce around that one core idea will build on the previous one. And now you've got multiple videos all built around one core idea rather than just one silver bullet that you were never going to make anyway. So as soon as you get an idea, make the content, make the video right now. And if you don't like what you make, then make something else around it, it's fine. The thing telling you that you can't and you need to wait to make that masterpiece video, that's just in your own head. So the next point I want to make kind of demonstrates this as well, and it's the next part of what I call the masterpiece problem, and that's that other people make perfect videos, so you should too. And I've talked about this in previous videos, there we go, I'm reusing an idea. And I also touched on it earlier in this video, and that's the comparison trap. And that plays a huge role in this problem too. So when you're browsing YouTube, you're normally getting a curated feed of videos from your favorite creators. You'll normally only be seeing the best videos they've published. That's just the statistical reality of how YouTube works. The better videos get the better reach, so you're more likely to be seeing them. But that experience enforces a delusion that everybody is making masterpieces every day with every video. And it is a complete illusion, but you start putting pressure on yourself to compete at that level, at that completely fictitious level. But when you start doing that, the playing field is kind of distorted. You're not seeing the reality of the quality of the content from a particular creator when you're just looking at it through the lens of a curated feed. You're not seeing the 100 videos that creator made beforehand before that one video landed. So remember, and I'm coming back to the point that I made at the beginning, nobody makes a masterpiece on purpose, but it sure does look that way sometimes. So these are 3 things that I've really been trying to work on this year to help me get unblocked, to stop me from procrastinating over ideas so much. I'm breaking down that false belief that my next video must be a masterpiece. And the reality is, I'll never make a masterpiece video if I spend so much time trapped in my own head, and neither will you. So I think the biggest thing I want you to take away from this video is permission. Permission to make something ordinary, because an ordinary video on your channel is so much better than a masterpiece in your head. So I hope you get something out of that. And in the meantime, YouTube is recommending that maybe you'll enjoy this video next. So stick around and I'll see you in the next one. Push it to the limit.